I'm just gonna replace. We'll just do that. And I gave him the teacher, right? I thought I did. Thank
Just
you.
on the employee assessment, so.
Okay. Hang on a second. Create and replace all. I'm just gonna do the other. Because he's the one. So, okay, this is where you can tell the system to use the projected amount. That was when we went into the salary schedule and gave the 5% increase and the step increase, okay? If I toggle this check mark off, then it will use the current amount, okay? Okay. So I'm gonna click OK here. There we go. Okay, so now we got both. Okay, so if we open this one up, and we have his teacher superintendent job at 105,000, and then we have that second one that you asked me to attach. Okay, which is the group term life, which you probably wouldn't show on the contract, but we're testing something, right, Tiffany?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, printing the contracts. Now, you could close out of here and go into reports to get to the contracts, but there is shortcuts here. And the shortcuts will take you to the employee documents. It'll take you to the contact management, which is like employee notes, to make a note on the employee, and also to print the contracts. So, and I'm on the support lines, I see all kinds of users, and some users will fly through and they know about the shortcuts, and other users won't. They'll close out of here. There's no right or wrong. It's just if you want to be more efficient. But where we're going now is under reports and then contracts. Okay, so if you want to go the long way, it's in HR report and contracts. If you wanted to, you could just click the shortcuts button and get there. And the shortcuts in without this new user interface is just behind the actions. You go actions, shortcuts, and you'll have these same three options, okay? Because some of, you'll be getting the new user interface in a few weeks, so. But you'll be able to get to it through the actions, okay? So printing the contract is just a matter of, if you were doing a large bunch of them, you could select the contract type. If you're doing one employee, you could select the employee. There's no right or wrong there, okay? You could do it by group. So some of you may set up groups or category. You'll just make the selection here. If I wanted to do all the teacher contracts, I could select that, okay? Here I can sort by either last name or social security number. Why you'd ever sort by social, I don't know, but it's an option there. But you may want to group by check location, okay? And again, if you're going to do them by paper, make it easier on yourself. So, group them by their location. And so if you stuff your checks each week, you'll probably want this in the same order. Okay. This will print at the very top of the contract, so I could leave it 14-15, but I kind of changed the dates on a lot of my contracts to 16-17, so I'm just going to do that. Okay. Here I can put in a date of the contract, and I'll put February 15th, and I could put in a comment. The comment will go into a comment box, so. Okay. You can mask your social security number, and if you have a lot of legal verbiage, you may want to print it out on a legal sheet of paper. I don't know too many districts that do that anymore. Okay. This checkbox here, done to keep the after text section with the signatures. So you know how we had the print before detail when I started this and the print after? It's going to group the signatures with the print after. So it's going to kind of try to keep it together on the same page, which may cause the contract to jump to a second page. So a lot of times clients will call in, and I've always tended to recommend that they take that check mark out, okay? And I don't know if anybody has a comment, but by taking that check mark out, sometimes it will scrunch things up a little bit more. So the default for the system is to have it on, but if we take it off, you know, it's something that you're gonna have to play with, depending on the length of your contract and the verbiage, okay? I tend to take it off, and it seems to scrunch things up a little bit more. Has that been your experience?
Yes,
Yeah.
they like to have the 2 pages,
Okay.
one page together.
So if you're doing paper contracts, then this is the end of the road. You'll generate them here, print them out, check them, send them on, okay? And then we'll come back to this if you're gonna do them as documents out to the portal, okay? So we'll be revisiting the screen, and we'll be talking about these areas, okay? The other thing that's available to you is to email these out to the employees. And that was, again, something that Carrie had mentioned in her PowerPoint at the beginning of this journey. So if you wanted to email them out and maybe copy yourself, you could do that, or copy an email. Okay, so I'm going to click OK here, and it's going to generate them in the report viewer. So we're on page 133. And so here you can see. So right before I printed, I changed those dates to 16, 17. We're seeing that here. Okay. We're seeing the name of your school district. It's pulling it from the GL default settings. We're seeing this was the document, title, and then type. So those first 3 fields that we saw that were in contract maintenance, and they're here, here, and down here, okay? So, and then we have the legal verbiage, the address, that was an option, and here's his position, and then I'm gonna scroll over here to the right, and this is for Esther C. Okay, I scroll down, have the leave plan information, and so this guy was just 1 page. And down here, whoops, let me scroll down again. Here you can see the comment box, so if you needed to add something, maybe to a particular person, you could just do that one person separate and then put in a little comment here at the bottom, or a group of people, okay? But we're good here. So at this point, you could print them, send them out, and then as they come back, check them off your list. Okay? Okay, so now, are we good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Starting to taper off.
So we want to, I know, everybody's falling asleep. Okay, so are we ready to do the portal? Publishing out to the web portal? Okay.
This is one of the exciting.
So,
I did have a question. Is there a way when you're building the contracts and things that you can preview it somewhere there? Or do you have to go out somewhere to see it?
yeah, you preview it here, so see how I have 1 of 82 documents? I can page through these and look at each one.
Now, I mean, like when you're building the contracts initially to have contracts available to assign to people. I'm way back, we're just getting ready to do that.
Yeah, well, it's pulling from their positions, so.
You
Yeah.
have to, you can just generate a couple.
See what it
Just
looks
take
like,
one, I
yeah.
think.
Just generate a
taking
couple,
one,
yeah.
Yeah.
One contract and assigning it to one person.
And then just go
Yeah,
out
and then
look
pull
at
it
And then pull it up
there.
in here.
Just
Yeah.
kind of play with it.
Yeah,
move
because
it
I'm gonna
some
have to do that with like
Yeah.
all of our contracts to get them ready for.
Oh, yeah, just do it with 1 person, and then print it out and show it to your business manager. Make sure they agree with the legal information, check for typos,
Okay.
all that fun stuff.
Yeah, because we're just now starting to put the before
Uh-huh.
information and the after. I mean,
Yeah.
We're like
Yeah,
step 1.
and I've had districts where they've had to take it to their lawyers and wait for the lawyer to review it and then send it back with changes, and then you'd have to go back and edit it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
I think we're at the point where we can put it in now. So I was just wondering if there's a way to preview when you're in here rather than having to go over
Yeah.
here
And,
to look
yeah, I
at
mean,
the whole page like that.
yeah, and no, it's just right here.
No, okay.
And it's in the report viewer, so you would just print it out do it on one person.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're part of Penn? Yeah, so, yeah, so if you.
She's new in the position, she's new to Canada
Yeah.
and HR area, so.
Okay.
New to Arizona, new to everything.
Well, welcome.
Love it.
Yeah, but I mean, I've taken a lot of time to get here, but really in real life, it's only a couple of minutes. It really is. It's quick.
Okay.
But I've had to explain a lot of things that, and answer questions that you just sitting there and do it, you just do it.
There's always a telephone, right?
Yeah, now you call him Marquesa? No, they call him
No, we call you.
Oh, ask for Val.
I will.
I'll help you, it'll go quick, we'll get it done real fast. Yep, okay. So,
About, as a question, and I apologize if I missed this, but who does it come back to? Do you set up an email address to have the contract sent back to? Do you mail it out?
no,
They would
they'd
print
have
the
to
hard
print it out,
copy, yeah.
sign it, and hand you a piece of paper, so you're too big to do that, you need to keep watching and do it through the portal. So,
The
yeah.
smaller districts certainly can just do the email.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
and that's a viable option.
Or the head nod in the hallway, hey, you want a job? Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
You good?
So, getting the contracts out into the portal. Okay, first step we want to do is I want to do a collapse. So I'm going to go to HR. How long does this last? Till 3:30?
Until you're done.
Okay, good, okay. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go into HR configuration and document types, okay? Where are they? Document types. Okay. So it's my recommendation that for each new fiscal year, you build a new contract document. That way, if you're doing 2 years worth of contract in the same year, you have filtering capabilities, okay? And, I mean, to me, it's cleaner for the employees that are gonna be viewing it on the portal, so, okay? So, when you add a new document, you aren't gonna be able to see it until somebody in security gives you that access. And I was up in front of a group of people training this, and I'm like, where'd it go? You guys saw me at it. And it's hidden from yourself until you give that access under your payroll user role, okay? So, for those of you that are locked out of security, that don't have that access, which is anybody that probably works in the HR department, you've got to get with your business manager or your security officer to give you access to that new document. And I'll show you in a minute, but I want to make sure you're aware of this because you'll be calling into support. I added this new document and I can't see it. So, or I'll be on the support line. I'm like, how can you check your contracts before you send them out? You don't have access to them. Let's get with your business manager and give you that access, okay? So we're gonna add a record here. And in here, I'm gonna put in maybe 16, 17 contract. And, okay. If you want the employees to be able to see it in the document area, you want to show it in the portal. Okay? If it's a contract, I mean, you can do all different document types. If you want it to work with the contract program, you got to toggle this guy on. Okay? So we'll go ahead and add that. Okay. Now, if I go to the employee level right now, and if I try to add a document, I'm not going to see that as a choice, or I'm not going to see it out here. So if I right-click and add, okay, I'm just going to grab Abbott. Just real quick. Document type, 16, 17. Let's see. Yeah, see, thank you. Okay. See how it's not in the list here? It's not up here at the top. It's just not in there. So it's hidden from me, okay? So in security, I'm gonna go down into security. After I scroll down, and workflow configuration, and we gotta go into payroll user roles. And the payroll user role that I happen to be working with, I believe, is payroll full access. Okay, I wanna go over to the HR document types, and I need to add that document type in. You'll make yourself crazy if you don't do that. So there's the 16-17 contract, and now I'll add it in. And I've seen people publishing contracts out to the portal that don't have that access, and I'm like, you're not able to check your work. I'm like, okay, you need to get your business manager on the line, we need to get you this access, so, okay. So that's kind of huge. Bless you, yes. So let me close out of this guy. Whoops, that's my size.
Now, that wasn't in the documentations at all, was it?
Pardon me?
I didn't see that either.
I don't
I
think it
didn't see
is,
it
and
in
that's
that.
why I'm kind of hitting it pretty heavy. Yeah.
That's what I was like.
That's
we're
something you
missing
can send
something.
out,
Yeah, I'm sorry?
that's something you can send out.
Yeah, I think it's something
But you
I
went
need to
through that
get with
quick enough that
curriculum.
it's like, I don't know if I'll remember.
Oh, okay,
Can I put
so,
that in our notes as a follow-up?
yeah, you wanna do that?
Yeah.
You'll send it to me?
Mhm.
Thanks, Carrie. Okay, yeah, I'll add that. Cool. Whatever Carrie tells me to do.
So we just have to drive her.
There you go, yep, yep. So, okay. So, she's my scribe today. Okay, so we added that into the payroll user roles. While I'm down here in security, okay, I told you we could ask 3 magic questions, and you had to add them in security. Those are in the user-defined fields. And that is in the book, but it's in the book on page contract maintenance. It's in the contract maintenance area. So, I thought it was. Contract signature and options. I thought I saw it here. Actually,
Page 137.
thank you. Okay, and I'm on 136. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Okay, so if we go into user-defined fields, and again, your security officer will probably have to do this as well. Okay. The 3 ones that I have added are, let me think, contract signature. I'm gonna hit filter on these. We only give you 3, okay, but I guess you could add a new one and swap them out if you needed to. Okay, and it looks like we have 4. So, with user-defined fields, they're in security, because if you add one into the system and you want it deleted, you're gonna have to pay Tyler to have a programmer go into the tables and fix it. So I'm just gonna make that statement, okay? So if you're messing around, haha, let's make a joke, and you put something funny in here, you won't be able to delete it. There is no delete in user-defined fields. So, and the thing is when we have user-defined fields going, you're gonna attach them to positions, you're gonna attach them to employee maintenance, you're gonna attach them to requisitions, vendors. They're all over the system, so there's a lot of different tables to get rid of these, and so it would require the help of a programmer, and so that's gonna cost the district if you need stuff gotten rid of. But you can have up to 3 of them, and it's just a matter of adding a record and putting in what you want. First, we have to link it to, and this happens to be the contract signature area. You can give it a sequence, and then you can put in what you want, and I'm just gonna put in test. You can make it required so that they can't save the record without it. You probably want that on contract. And then we have the data type. You could do an open text box where they could key in anything they want. I wouldn't recommend that, not with. No.
Not on the contract.
Not on a contract, right. You could do a date field, or you could do a drop down. If you do the drop down, you could put in the choices that you want to give them. That would be the way to go. So if we review the ones that are already here, we have the number of checks. Here we have the number of checks. We made it required. We made it a drop down. And every year you could change this. Maybe next year it will be 20 checks and then 26, but you could edit that, okay? And then we have, this one looks like it was an open text field, and I don't know why they have this, so. Bad training data. We have read and saved the contract, yes or no. So you'd want to probably keep it real simple, okay? And then, I agree to the terms of this contract. Okay, we have yes or no. So, again, if you're in the HR department, you might not have access to this, but you would get with your business manager, and they would probably help you define these. It would probably be done at a higher level, okay? So once you get them defined in here, they now become a choice for us to link to the contract. So if I close out of here, and if I go into the contract area in HR, right here, and contract maintenance, then this is where, I'm just gonna open up the teacher one. This is where you can now link them. So there's the number of checks. Okay, so that's pulling from the area of security that I just was. And this is where you give the instructional text for your staff. So when they log into the portal, they know what to do with these 3 questions. Make sense? Okay, cool. So you just link them in here. You could change the order if you wanted to. Maybe this time we'll do, I agree to the terms as number 1, and then the number of checks is going to be the 3rd option. But you'll figure out the order that you want them in. And do you need to use all 3? No. You could just use 1. Any questions here? No? Okay. Oh, I'm going to cancel out of this. It does say that, I wrote this up last week, so it did save it, but, yeah. Okay, but it's a little bug that I found. Okay, so after you get that in, then if we go into the employee level of the contracts, employee contracts, and if you want, I'll go into it through here, so it's this option. Okay. This is where we created and generated. The first thing we have to do is we have to make a document to attach as a PDF, and then we have to link that document into this field right here. Okay, and we have a way to mass do that. Okay. But to make the document, I'm going to take my shortcut over to print contracts. And instead of actually printing the contract this time, I'm going to append it to the document that I created. Remember, I created that 16-17 contract, and then I gave myself the excess, and Kevin, you asked for me to give you the instructions on it, okay? So basically, I just click OK, and it's going out and it's working, and it's creating the documents, and I got 82 of these that it's going to be going through and doing. And I'm going to do a file close out of here. See if it's
They don't inform you this process done, you need to keep the file closed
Yeah.
before they can tell you if it's complete or not.
Yeah. So it's gonna make me wait. And then it will come up with a window that it's done, but it's kind of after the fact. Yeah. So. And run out of tape?
Not yet. We got a 64 gigabyte SD card. I think we're good for a while.
So it's a long.
And I forgot to unplug it during break, darn. But basically, what we're doing is we're creating documents, and then I'm gonna take you to employee documents, and we'll view it there, you can check it there, and then we're gonna link the documents to the contracts and then publish the contracts out to the portal, and then we'll log in as Peter Abbott and And then, I think Tiffany has something to share with the group on the two.
Peter Rabbit will.
Yeah, the Peter
You
Abbott.
either only associate one, or you associate both, but when you publish, you only select one. Otherwise, you have two contracts.
Okay.
I think the contract will show in.
In there twice. So do you want me to show that? Or, I don't want to confuse the group, but, yeah. But this is, it's good information. And so what do you do about that when they have two positions that you want on the same contract? Do you do that or ever?
So yeah, his current has to be set for yes for both contracts, and then it'll show up when it prints here.
It'll show?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
I can show you if you want.
yeah. Come on. Big mistake.
A good time if anyone needs to run to the restroom really quick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Also a good time to remind everyone about Tyler Connect.
Yeah, who's going to Connect?
May 1st through 4th here in town, which is, I think next year it's going to be back in Texas. So really great opportunity for everyone to go to that. Tyler Connect, it's our national conference, and so every year it moves around the country. This year it's in Phoenix, May 1st through 4th. The registration's available online, and early registration rates are available until
Through February 21st, I think.
February 21st, yep. And so the registration gets you 3 days of classes. And there's classes for different tracks. So there's an Infinite Visions finance track. There's an Infinite Visions personnel track, you know, and all the course descriptions are online. We're having some classes that are hands-on learning labs where you're working in the software. We're having classes that are being taught by some of our colleagues, including Mr. Mike Martinez. And there's going to be a really fun event on Tuesday night. We'll be at the Diamond Heads Stadium.
Diamondbacks.
She lives in Washington. You gotta give her a pass on that one.
And it's
Isn't that where the Seattle Marlins play? Is that the name?
Thank you, I deserve that. But it's going to be a live concert from the band Blues Traveler, which will be really fun. That includes meals, I think lunch and breakfast.
Meals and breakfasts, and there will be unlimited amounts of bacon. Saying that, I would like to caution you from taking advantage of unlimited amounts of bacon. Do not repeat the mistake of what I did
Like
in
a
San
male's
Antonio last year.
experience.
It was just maybe one plate too many.
You didn't even remember the city, it was Atlanta. You've forgotten the city, it was so bad. Wasn't it in Atlanta last year?
Oh yeah. Hey, last year doesn't
It
count.
was, yeah, well, you were sick. Too much bacon and too much,
I was 1 foot in the grave last year.
where was it even? Got it.
I don't think you
Poor
even set
guy.
foot outside the conference.
No, I tried to go to dinner once, and I sat down and I'm like, no, I'm going back to my room. So,
You checked into the hospital when you got
A
back.
group
Yeah,
of like
blame the bacon. Blame the bacon.
this year it will be a very large group.
Yeah, it should be.
but I still did my class.
Did you?
Yes.
Rallied.
Checked into the hospital when you got back.
Yeah,
Thanks, too, yeah.
right.